The update turned out to be quite substantial, actually, which include game updates, but also updates focused on the usability of our application, so to speak. I'll probably start with the game updates. The most important, the main thing, which we've talked about many times, I think there have been a lot of news about this in our resources, is that we have released 2 new games. They're Zombie Replay, party games. Essentially, the games are super different. It's quite funny that they were released at the same time. It catered to the needs of, so to speak, radically different audiences. Starting with Zombie Replay. It's a horror shooter aimed at an audience that isn't afraid of scary elements in VR headsets, which is already quite accustomed to all of this. The game tells us about a group of survivors who fend off a base of zombies actually in a mansion in order to wait for rescue. The game is actually quite a cool challenge and is very different from the games that came out before it. Because, first of all, this is the first PvE game we've released, meaning people fight against bots, not each other. Secondly, this is the first game that features a multi-level map, are really cool innovations that will definitely appear in our future games. Especially with multi-level maps, we already know where this can be integrated. Essentially, it was very interesting to work on the enemy's artificial intelligence. We have several types of zombies, we have progressive waves, and we even have a boss. Creating this game was a really cool challenge. It will obviously continue to be refined. We had a storyline planned, and it will appear we just didn't have time to integrate it yet. The game will evolve, but this was a really great technological leap. Party games is kind of the complete opposite of the zombies we made, because party targets an audience of little kids, such as young children around 6, 8, 10 years old, who, on the contrary, need games, a lower level of, so to speak, violence, because even in arcades, we still fight against each other. Some people might get upset, and some might not like it. We needed to cater to the audience of kids who want to play family-friendly games, without violence, without blood, without shooting each other. Well, again, I'm not saying that all kids will like it or that someone won't like the arcade. It's more about a slightly different price point. However, most games do not involve violence against one another. For this, we developed new mechanics. So, if before we mostly had shooting in our games, now there are other items. For example, we have a game called Catch the Mole, or you need to hit moles with a hammer, or animals that you need to catch for points. These are new elements for us that will later be integrated into other games. Each game should be seen as a preparatory stage for the fact that all the new things we create will be reused somewhere else. We are also testing right now, and we might refine some things in the new update. There will be adjustments because we've received feedback. Besides the new games I mentioned, we are also continuing to work on the products we already have, which are mostly strike and arcade games. This update includes a significant balance update for all existing games. We want to test this. We are doing it based on the statistics we receive from the locations and on its private balance. So get ready for the fact that the weapons you might be used to will now work a little differently. Besides the games, we also focus on working on our product not just from the player's perspective, but also from the partners and operators side, basically those who manage the gameplay right on the arenas. This is because we always provide an admin panel with the games, through which all these games are set up. The admin panel underwent significant changes in this update. We completely redesigned it, rearranged many elements, restored missing functionalities, and added features that weren't there before. For example, a very useful and important function for renaming players through the admin panel has been introduced. Now players can name themselves, but some may find it difficult or want to change their name. So this can now be done through the admin. Additionally, players can now be kicked out. Overall, many functions that were lacking and requested by many have been added. We looked at the feedback to see which specific features were most requested and added them. Also, by the way, a very detailed manual was created for the admin panel explaining how it works, to make it easier for new administrators to navigate. In general, a strong emphasis was placed on the design, layout, and explanations to lower the entry barrier for managing the gameplay. The ideal admin panel is one where a person who has never done it before can set up a game. It shouldn't be like nuclear physics, with 10 levers that aren't labeled, requiring a long learning process. That's why a strong emphasis was placed on this in the admin panel. Each game has its own description, and each level has a photo that you can immediately look at to see what the level is all about. The admin panel is maximally adapted so that administrators don't have to learn too much. It can be launched literally on the first try, the first time entering the admin panel. If it doesn't work out, there's a tutorial. That's all for this update. As they say, indeed, stay tuned for news from us in some time. To be continued.